Everyone, welcome to another Music Talk Tuesday, and today I thought it would be interesting to briefly address cover songs, in particular more the subject of cover songs rather than discussing my favorite ones or my least favorite ones. I'm sure everybody has an opinion in regards to songs that are covered by other artists. I think there's sort of this divide. On the one hand, there are those who do not like covers at all and feel that the originals are always the ones where the creativity primarily lies. And some do enjoy cover songs because they feel that the cover song provides something unique compared to what the original artists were doing with the song. And I tend to be in the middle on this because I know that there are some songs out there that you could make the argument that are generally ripping the other song off, and not necessarily like trying to pay homage or trying to, put some unique spin on it. It's kind of the same with films too. Like, there's been films that have been considered remakes. And then sometimes you'll look at one remake and you'll go, wow, they took this material and did something completely different and unique out of it. And I think there's also other ones where people go, wow, why was this remade? This is completely unnecessary. And I think it's the same with songs. And usually other forms of art too. I'm sure there's been books that might have been covered as well and had a different spin on it, and sometimes you can even consider movies covers of books. So there's a lot of different scenarios in which covers happen. But I think within songs, usually, at least from the sort of start of music more within radio and on television, I think music generally started off in the 20th century as having cover songs that sort of paid homage. There were a lot of artists that were kind of looking at other people's styles and trying to create their own style. For example, the Beatles did a cover of Twist and Shout. That's not their original song. They actually did a cover of that song from another artist or artists. And there have been various artists, famous artists, that have done cover songs of Beatles songs. So there's a lot of borrowing and a lot of inspiration borrowing, I guess you could, inspiration taking, I guess you could say. Like a lot of what was going on, I believe, in the 20th century was largely based in trying to pay homage to other artists. And I think even some artists were honored if some other famous artist liked their song and decided to do their own version. It was almost considered, I guess, an honor because it gets you more exposure as an artist. So again, I think that was really the main understanding of cover songs is that even though there were cover songs out there, people were generally, I think, a little bit more positive to the idea because, again, music was really starting its foundations and changing throughout the United States and throughout Europe and Western culture. So I think it only makes sense that that people would take various different inspirations from different artists and create their own unique spin. And I would say that, though, the majority of the time, although there were a lot of cover songs back in the day, I would say that the originality definitely outweighs the cover songs and the taking inspiration songs. So again, I think there is originality, but I think there was a lot of appreciation for other artists, and I think that's why a lot of cover songs were popular, at least during that time period. Today, more around the 21st century, I think there has been a lot of skepticism when it comes um, to having cover songs. I think we see this with a lot of lawsuits that end up happening because one artist feels that they're trying to that another artist is really trying to copy their song and make money off of it. So again, there's a lot of speculation when it comes to that, and there's a lot involved when it comes to that kind of a lawsuit. But I think we treat cover songs, at least nowadays, a little bit more on the negative side than what cover songs were back in the 20th century. So I think that's a really striking difference that I noticed, at least. I think that there's a lot more skepticism now, at least when it comes to these kinds of cover songs or songs that try to copy other songs. And I think for good reason, because I don't think at least a lot of these cover songs that are coming out, or songs that do sound familiar to other songs, are trying to really take inspiration from the other artist. More as they're just trying to make them make some money from that inspiration, rather than it being sort of a mutual exchange. It's a more one-sided, I guess, exchange now, because now with the popularity of YouTube and being able to access really popular songs a lot more easily through music videos, and I think usually people comment on music videos and use that as a means to distribute content. It clearly showcases the ability for the artists to make money, and I think that there has been a lot of skepticism when it comes to being able to take somebody else's work and make it your own. And I think a lot of that has to do too with technology. I mean, it's probably a lot easier to tell now what song sounds similar to what song than it did back way in the day in the 20th century, where you had to probably be listening to music a lot in order to really understand oh, this song's trying to take inspiration from this song, or oh, this song sounds similar to this song. The content is getting a lot easier for people to access. So I think it only makes sense that there would be more of a negative a negative response to that. But again, I feel like a cover song can be good if you know that, if you just know what you're doing when you're going into it, and maybe letting the initial artists know, like, hey, we're doing a cover song of one of your songs, and it's not because we're trying to mooch off of your success, it's because we want to pay homage to you. Then maybe that would go over more positively. But I do understand that sometimes it's just for money-making purposes, and I think stealing other people's work is not really a good idea. I think it's, though, sometimes hard to prove, because you can maybe change things within the instrumentals to make it sound like some other kind of song, but it's really not directly sounding like the other song. So again, there's a lot of things that artists can do nowadays that they probably weren't capable of doing back in the day. So I think it only makes sense that making music cheap is pretty much how a lot of these cover songs end up becoming not attacked. But basically, there is these two types, though, that you could say they are considered cover songs. One that completely copies the lyrics as well as the instrumentals, but maybe does something a little bit unique with the instrumentals. That again doesn't make it sound like it's the exact same thing. But there are other songs that are probably more closer to the originals than others when it comes to cover songs. But there's also the cover songs where they don't use the exact same lyrics, but they might use similar instrumentals. And I think this is where usually the controversy comes in, at least today, most likely. If you've heard the Blurred Lines song, that has been covered as having that has been covered as to being a song that is similar to, I think, Marvin Gaye, and I believe that song received a lawsuit. But as the result of that lawsuit, I'm not sure. But again, these kinds of things I think do happen, and I think a lot of these songs that try to cover other songs do get attacked, and sometimes some songs might get attacked that you don't understand, like, wow, how can this song possibly be this song? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, because they don't really sound similar, really. But I think sometimes it can happen unintentionally, because there have been so many different things that have been showcased within music already, that it is very difficult to not have a song that sounds maybe a little bit similar to some chords of another song. But when it comes to cover songs, I think that there are, again, these good and bad connotations to it. I mean, you can have a good cover song that tries to showcase the original artist's talent by doing it in a way that's creatively unique at the same time. Or you can have a cover song that's a complete parody. Weird Al is a perfect example of this. You know, it all really depends on what the artist's intentions are, I think. I mean, if their intentions are to take inspiration and you know, cover a song because they actually genuinely like the song and they see its potential to be used and create their own interpretation of the song, then yeah, I think that's fine. It's sort of the same with movies. Like, I don't think making a remake of a film is a bad idea, but it's again how you execute it and what's your intentions behind it. That's what I think really matters, is the intention behind your decision making. So I think that's really the basic understanding when it comes to cover songs, is that they do have their purpose and they do have a significance, I think, within music. But it's what your purpose is and what your intention is when it comes to making a cover song or a song that sounds similar to another song. I think that's really what it comes down to, and I think those intentions shine through if you look at what the artist's sort of response is once the song comes out, or if they've talked with the original artist at all about it. You know, it's clear that these kinds of things will come up, and I think there's also too a lot of artists that have sort of paid homage to other artists by performing their songs live. I think that's another very popular thing that has happened over the years, where artists will do a cover song of some other famous artist and do it for the purpose of showcasing their talent in a live performance. So again, it really all depends, I think, on the artist's intentions. So that's really what I think makes a cover song, is if you're doing it for the right reasons, it'll, I think, have a positive response. But if you do it just for the sake of trying to copy somebody else in order to make a buck, it's probably not going to return to your favor. And I think we've seen the Blurred Lines songs get a lot of controversy because of that. But who knows? But at the end of the day, it's really all depends on what the audience likes and what the audience feels the song's intentions were. And you kind of see this just by the way it's written or the way it's showcased to the public. It's kind of noticeable to understand these things. So I think that's really the important thing to understand about cover songs, is that they have their purpose, they have their I think significance, but sometimes they can be used as a means to an end, and that, I think, can be a problem. But it's just one of those problems that'll probably continue on, and there will be controversy because of that. But I think, though, that's really ultimately all I can say. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.